around the world. And well, let's take a quick look at all that's cooking across the globe as we bring you some of these headlines to begin with. The International Criminal Court seeks arrest warrants for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Defense Minister Yoav Gallant. Now, Yoav Gallant announces Israel's plan to broaden the Rafah sweep. Iran plans to hold funeral processions for President Raisi. In the hush money trial, former lawyer Michael Cohen admitted to stealing from Donald Trump's organizations. New Taiwan's president urged China to stop its threats. South Korea and the United Kingdom will host an AI summit in Seoul. Julian Assange has won the right to appeal his extradition to the United States. A court in Pakistan has acquitted Imran Khan in a vandalism case. Albanian lesbians held an unofficial wedding on the roof of the mayor's office in Albania's capital, Tirana. Well, with that now, we slip in our focus into the top story of the day, which continues to be our focus on President Raisi's demise. Now, the world continues to be in a state of rather shock with the tragic development of Iranian President Ebrahim Raisi and Foreign Minister Amir Hossein Amir Abdullahian, along with 7 other passengers, dying in a deadly helicopter crash. Now, the crash site revealed a gruesome picture, revealing the chopper to have completely been burnt. The mortal remains of all 9 passengers were in fact charred beyond identification. Now, the latest updates that have come in are the preparations for the funeral procession ceremony, which has begun in Tabriz on Monday for all those who lost their lives in the crash. Reports so far have revealed that the crash was due to the bad weather as they were en route from Azerbaijan after the president inaugurated a joint dam operation there. Now, the funeral ceremony is scheduled to take place in Tabriz today, while another ceremony is to take place in the city of Qom. Mourners were seen entering and collecting cups of tea close to the historic site, which is the Arg of Tabriz. Large banners featuring images of the deceased were also visible around the area, as you can see on your screens. With that now, Iran's Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei expressed his grief in an official address to the nation on Monday. He declared 5 days of public mourning in the memory of all those who lost their lives in the crash.
Who Ebrahim Raisi was. As a prominent figure in Iran's political and religious circle, Raisi was seen as a potential successor to the Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Now, let's take a look at his life and legacy. In the wake of the 1979 Islamic Revolution, which reshaped Iran's political landscape under Sharia law, Ebrahim Raisi emerged as a prominent figure. With a background in religious scholarship, Raisi ascended through the governmental hierarchy, notably serving as Tehran's Prosecutor General from 1989 to 1994, a tenure marked by controversial nickname, the Butcher of Tehran. His involvement in Death Commission overseeing the execution of thousands of political prisoners in 1988 further shaped his reputation. In 2016, he was appointed custodian of the Astan Quds Razavi, a key religious foundation. Despite setbacks, including an unsuccessful presidential bid in 2017, Raisi clinched victory in the 2021 presidential election, solidifying his role as a key figure in Iran's judiciary and political landscape. Raisi's win was widely protested with the accusation of rigging in favor of the conservatives, who won with 62% of the votes. Raisi's ascent in politics and law earned him recognition particularly well within Iran's Shiite Muslim clergy. Raisi's presidency was marked both by domestic and international scrutiny. Domestically, his tenure has coincided with significant protests reflecting widespread discontent among Iranians over various issues such as economic hardship, political repression and social restriction. And Mahsa Amini case is one of it. His tenure was also marred by criticism for the human rights abuses. And if we have the picture, let us play out that picture also, that this case internationally led to a lot of criticism. Also, as I said, the criticism for the human rights abuses, including crackdown on dissent and a controversial order regarding women's dress code, resulting in a nationwide protest. These protests have often been met with a heavy-handed response from the authorities, including the Basij. The Basij, a volunteer militia with close ties to Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, plays a significant role in maintaining order and suppressing dissent within Iran. It has been involved in quelling protests and enforcing government's agenda. In 2022, in the protest after Mahsa Amini's death, widely referred to as Women Life Freedom Uprising, over 500 protesters were killed in violent crackdowns, over 2 lakh were arrested and many executions took place. Now, Basij's relationship with the Raisi administration was seen as the symbiosis with the militia, often acting as a key instrument in upholding the government's authority. Internationally, Raisi influenced Iran's foreign policy, fostering ties with Russia and China. Notably, Iran concluded the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action during his term, although his confrontational stand towards Western powers, particularly Israel, led to regional tension. He was the one who launched a significant military action against Israel. More than 300 missiles were fired, which brought both Iran and Israel close to war. See, he altered the traditional diplomacy within West Asia.
Well, that was a timeline of events with regards to President Raisi's rule, and all that had unfolded under his rule, because indeed he didn't have one of the most famous titles to go around with, because he was indeed known as the Butcher of Tehran as well as the Hanging Judge. But we will come back to all of those later. Right now, let's take a look at all the condolences that have poured in from leaders across the world yesterday after the official announcement of Iran losing President Raisi and Foreign Minister Abdullahian in the helicopter crash. In fact, while Prime Minister Narendra Modi and our External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar had already sent in their condolences yesterday, the national flag at Rashtrapati Bhavan flies at half-mast today as one-day national mourning is being observed in the country in solidarity with Iran. But the other part is, let's also take a look at these visuals that have come in. Well, with that now, as we speak of condolences, let's also take a look of what's next with regards to President Ebrahim Raisi's death. Because with President Ebrahim Raisi's untimely and tragic demise, Iran is currently at the precipice of a politically turbulent period. As per constitutional protocol, as spelled out in the Article 131, Vice President takes up the interim role of the President, and elections are then to be held within the next 50 days under the supervision of the Supreme Leader and the involvement of the Speaker of the Parliament and Judiciary. Accordingly, Vice President Mohammad Mokhber has taken up the role of the interim President, and Mokhber led a cabinet meeting yesterday after the news of the crash had come in. 68-year-old Mokhber, along with the Speaker of Parliament and the head of the Judiciary, now has 50 days to organize the election of a new President. So far, June 28th has been circled as the date for holding the next presidential polls. Mokhber, who had taken office in 2021 like Raisi, is seen as close to the Supreme Leader Khamenei. Before becoming the vice president, Mokhber headed the investment fund Sitad, which is also associated with Ali Khamenei. Mokhber had also formerly served as an officer of Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps.
Iran has got challenges in front of it. There are economic sanctions, there are internal issues related to rights, then you have tension between the moderates and the conservatives. And fourth, you have this young generation which is connected with the outside world via internet. And in this context, there's a churn which is taking place in the Iranian society. Now let me come back. Iran's supreme leader Ali Khamenei appointed Mohammad Mokhber as the interim head of the executive branch following President Ebrahim Raisi's tragic demise in the helicopter crash. He's playing an important role now. He's playing an important role because he's been pushed there. Mokhber, aligned with Khamenei, assumes the role in midst for the call for swift presidential elections within 50 days. And he is the one who's taking care of the day-to-day affairs of Iran. Traditionally shrouded in secrecy, Mokhber's rise underscores Iran's complex power dynamics. Mokhber's first became vice president in 2021 following the election of President Raisi, with a background steeped in both military service and intricate business dealings. Mokhber brings a unique blend of experience to his role in Iranian politics. The 68-year-old journey to the upper echelons of power traces back to the service in the Revolutionary Guard Medical Corps during the Iran-Iraq War of 1988. However, it's his involvement in these significant business transactions, particularly the 2022 deal with Russia involving drones and ballistic missiles, that has drawn attention to his capabilities beyond the military realm. Handpicked by the President Raisi for his extensive experience within influential Iranian organizations like Mostafazan Foundation and Sitad, Mokhber's rise underscores its familiarity with the complex financial networks that underpin Iran's power structure. Yet his association with entities like Mostafazan Foundation, named by the United States Treasury for its alleged involvement in various sectors of Iran's economy, human rights abuses, invites scrutiny. Moreover, Mokhber's close ties to Supreme Leader Khamenei, cultivated through his leadership role in Sitad, further highlight his influence within the Iranian political landscape. As Iran grapples with economic challenges and external pressures, including the implication of the recent agreement with Russia, Mokhber's leadership, alongside upcoming elections and the broader political environment, will play a decisive role in determining the nation's future direction. Iran has declared 5 days of mourning following Raisi's death, and a cabinet meeting is taking place to decide the course of action. Condolences have poured in from the world over. However, the United States has still not issued an official statement. Israel, on the other hand, has denied any role in the death of Raisi. There are also reports of mixed reaction among the Iranian public, with some celebrating and others mourning his death. Raisi's death can potentially lead to a high-stake power struggle in Iran. Who emerges as the victor in the power struggle will be a question on everyone's mind in both Iran and abroad.
Well, with that now, we are slipping into a short break, but do stay tuned to News 9 Live as we come back with more on the other side.
I was ready to be a CEO at 26.
Only the guys with the strongest heads can handle hard situations.
There is a blurring line between arrogance and confidence.
This is the philosophy of FC Bayern Munich.
World premiere on 25th of May, only on News 9 Live at 9 p.m.
Helps beat sensitivity fast. Sensodyne Rapid Relief.
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
20,000 people dead and counting. What's happening in the United States of America is unprecedented. You will have to pay for this.
Forever there are simultaneous election of parliament, assembly and municipality and panchayat. So that framework has to be given in the constitution. That amendment has been suggested.
Are you going to take away the power of dissolution?
I mean, it doesn't require any rocket science to do this. It's a simple constitutional amendment, and the idea is everything goes together.
The Law Commission has set the ball rolling for one nation, one election. Basically, if all goes well, then India may see simultaneous elections to Lok Sabha, state assemblies, municipalities and panchayats in 2029.
This and more. Streaming on News9 plus news is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
Helps beat sensitivity fast. Sensodyne Rapid Relief.
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
Welcome back. You're watching News9 Live, and at the top of this segment, we continue to keep our focus on President Raisi's demise. Well, as we were speaking about condolences having poured in from leaders across the world yesterday after the official announcement of Iran losing their President Raisi and Foreign Minister Abdullahian in a helicopter crash came in. Well, while Prime Minister Modi and S. Jaishankar had already sent in their condolences yesterday, the national flag at Rashtrapati Bhavan flies at a half-mast as one-day national mourning is being observed in the country in solidarity with Iran. But remember, it's not just India. There are other nations, the leaders of other nations that have also come up to share their condolences, to offer their condolences with the people of Iran. However, there were two nations that we had a close look at, that is the US and the UK, which hadn't offered their condolences initially. However, President Joe Biden was constantly being updated about the developments regarding the crash and the subsequent search operations, which revealed the demise of the two leaders. It was only later in the day that the State Department of the United States of America condoled the death of the president and all others who lost their lives in the crash. In fact, spokesperson Matthew Miller issued a statement which said, and I quote, "As Iran selects a new president, we reaffirm our support for the Iranian people and their struggle for human rights and fundamental freedom."
Debris and mangled metal can be seen wedged between trees at a site said to be the wreckage of Iranian President Ebrahim Raisi's helicopter on Monday. The footage from a Turkish broadcaster showed parts of the destroyed aircraft in a misty, forested area. Officials in state media on Monday said Raisi, a hardliner seen as a potential successor to Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, was killed along with 6 others aboard the helicopter after it crashed in poor weather in mountains near the Azerbaijan border. Supreme Leader Khamenei, who holds ultimate power with a final say on foreign policy and Iran's nuclear program, announced 5 days of public mourning and said First Vice President Mohammad Mokhber would take over as interim president. In the first cabinet meeting after the crash, the acting leader vowed the incident would not interrupt the government's operations.
This is a serious incident for all of us. It is sad and upsetting, but in the interests of the country and our people, we won't have any disruption. The country will continue moving forward under this leadership. Everyone should continue on with their roles despite this incident. In no way will this tragic incident interfere with the government and the running of our country.
The crash comes at a time of growing dissent within Iran over an array of political, social, and economic crises. Iran's clerical rulers face international pressure over Tehran's disputed nuclear program and its deepening military ties with Russia during the war in Ukraine. Iranians in exile in Berlin celebrated the president's death, while the head of a Paris-based Iranian opposition group told Reuters that Raisi's death represents an enormous and serious strategic blow to the mullah's supreme leader Ali Khamenei and the entire regime. The United Nations held a moment of silence for Raisi Monday, while leaders around the globe expressed their condolences, including Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan, who said earlier it sent rescue teams to assist, while even the U.S. offered to help after receiving a request from Iran, according to State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller.
I'm not going to get into the details, but we were asked by the Iranian government for assistance. We said that we would be willing to assist. It's something that we would do with respect to any government in this situation. Ultimately, largely for logistical reasons, we weren't able to provide that assistance.
The U.S. government offered condolences to the Iranian people, though a White House spokesperson said Raisi had blood on his hands for supporting extremist groups in the region. An Israeli official who requested anonymity told Reuters it was not involved in the crash, while the U.S. said it played no role either.
The second son of the Supreme Leader, Khamenei, has been rumored to be in the line of succession. Yes, I'm talking about Supreme Leader's son. Now, the rumor is he's next in the line of succession for the position of the Supreme Leader, Ebrahim Raisi. Now, he is also one of the top contenders to succeed old and ailing Ali Khamenei as the Supreme Leader. Now, let's take a look at who Mojtaba Khamenei is and if he stands to benefit the most from this unfortunate accident. He is a cleric and a political leader. One. Secondly, he plays an important role in the office of the Supreme Leader. Thirdly, confident aide-de-camp, gatekeeper and power broker in the Supreme Leader's office. Fourth, served in armed forces also. Mojtaba Khamenei. And he is the man people are looking out for. Played a crucial role in the rise of the President Ahmadinejad.
Now, while speculations have been rife over whether any foul play was involved in the crash, U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin has said that he did not have any specific insights into the cause of the helicopter crash. And Austin further added that he did not necessarily see any broader impact on the regional security. Well, with that now, we're slipping into a short break. But do stay tuned to News9 Live as we come back with more on the other side.
I was ready to be a CEO at 26.
Only the guys with the strongest heads can handle hard situations.
There is a blurring line between arrogance and confidence.
This is the philosophy of FC Bayern Munich.
World premiere on 25th of May, only on News9 Live at 9 p.m.
Helps beat sensitivity fast. Sensodyne Rapid Relief.
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी.
Why is the state not looking at putting an embargo on that?
As a Telangana person, I will not accept.
How do ordinary folks deal with this?
I don't think anybody has isolated Ajit Dada Pawar. Ajit Dada has isolated himself
That led to a lot of bad blood between the ruling partners.
It is not true. You know it very well, who these elements are, who these individuals are. And these are the very reasons why you see a division in the party.
Now this contest between Supriya Sule and Sunetra Pawar is really a proxy war between uncle and nephew, and it's being fought in the family bastion of Baramati.
This and more. Streaming on News9 Plus. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
I was ready to be a CEO at 26.
Only the guys with the strongest heads can handle hard situations.
There is a blurring line between arrogance and confidence.
This is the philosophy of FC Bayern Munich.
World premiere on 25th of May, only on News9 Live at 9 p.m.
Helps beat sensitivity fast. Sensodyne Rapid Relief.
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी.
Start with the end in mind. You need to know where you want to reach. Every morning that we wake up, we are exercising our choice. The destiny is decided. The results are known that I'm going to win. Life of a goalkeeper is something which has always intrigued me.
When you come into a stadium, this is the highest level of pressure.
When I set out to do something, I decide in my mind that failure is not an option.
What you feel very strongly about, those are the stories to tell.
I have a mind which is absolutely restless.
Mind and body are entangled sensations.
That brings me back to golf. It's an amazing game.
This is not a perfect game. You only learn from them.
If you have a formula to a success, then you can replicate it.
I feel this is my first step. I'm starting now.
Winner is first born in the mind. I think, therefore I am. We are all about our mind.
World premiere every Saturday on News9 Live at 9 p.m.
The game of power politics has begun. The poll bugle has been sounded. Who will receive the death blow? Who will be checkmated? It still remains to be seen.
ये दिखाता है हर कार्यकर्ता का बुलंद हौसला.
This and more. Streaming on News9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
वो पूछते हैं कि हम कौन है गालिब. तुम बताओ कि हम बतलाएं क्या.
I told him, you do what you think is best. I will not insist.
This and more. Streaming on News9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
जानना है तो देखिए, समझना है तो सुनिए, सीखना है तो पूछिए, और कमाना है तो खरीदिए। जानकारी, सलाह और निवेश सब एक ही सुपर ऐप पर। का सवाल है तो जवाब है मनी 9। आजादी पैसे की, अभी डाउनलोड करें।
Can the Trinamool candidate from Baharampur hit the ball out of the park?
50-60 दिन बहुत ज़्यादा बोल रहा हूँ, उससे पहले ही काम दिखने स्टार्ट हो जाएंगे।
Pitted opposite Pathan in Team BJP is Dr. Nirmal Kumar Saha.
The fight is not Adit Chaudhary and Nirmal Saha. The fight between Modi versus Rahul Gandhi.
Yusuf Pathan and Nirmal Saha, two professionals who have switched to politics, are taking on Congress leader Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary. Can one of the first-time politicians end his winning streak?
This and more. Streaming on News9 Plus. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
Helps beat sensitivity fast. Sensodyne Rapid Relief.
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
Welcome back. You're watching News9 Live, and at the top of this segment, we are shifting our focus to the national arena. Let's quickly take you through some of the headlines that's come in from across the nation. Extortion rises in the state of Manipur, causing markets to remain shut. A high-profile rave party was busted at a farmhouse in Bengaluru's electronic city. Well, Delhiites suffer long power cuts amid a severe heat wave that is currently underway in the national capital. The hearing in the K. Kavita case is set to continue today. The Supreme Court will hear Hemant Soren's interim bail plea. The Enforcement Directorate alleges that Aam Aadmi Party received rupees 7.808 crore from foreign donors. H.D. Ravanna has been granted bail in a sexual assault case. The IMD has issued a severe heat wave alert for Delhi NCR as temperatures soar to 44 to 45 degrees. The Malayalam movie Vadakan will be screened at the Cannes Film Festival. Well, with that now, let's dive right into our top story. This is from West Bengal. Justice Chittaranjan Das, who retired as a judge of the Calcutta High Court, credited RSS for shaping his personality. Speaking at his farewell at the High Court in the presence of judges and members of the bar, Justice Dash said that he was ready to go back to RSS if they called him for any assistance or for any work that he was capable of doing. To the distaste of the same person, of some people, I must admit here that I was and I am a member of the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, is what was said by Justice Dash. He further said that I owe a lot to the organization and I'm there from my childhood and throughout my youth. I've learned to be courageous, upright and have an equal view for others and above all the sense of patriotism and commitment to the work. Justice Dash said that he had distanced himself from the organization for about 37 years because of the work he undertook. I've never used my membership of the organization for any advancement of my career because it is against its principles, he said. Justice Dash said that he treated everybody at par, be it a rich or a poor person, a communist or from the BJP, Congress or Trinamool Congress. He said that he was ready to go back to the organization if they called him for any assistance or for any work they needed for him to do, which he was capable of doing. Now let's cut across to our colleague Ashok Bagaria, who's joining us on this broadcast. Ashok, help us understand. We've seen political leaders who have been associated with the RSS, and we have seen several such members, several such faces in the society who are associated in the RSS. But I think probably this is one of the very few times that a judicial member, in fact a justice, a judge for that matter, has come out to say that he was not only a part of the RSS, but he wants to go back and join and assist them in any way possible. If you could just put this into perspective for our viewers.
Well, first things first, that this is almost the first such incident where a member of the judiciary has come out of the closet and said that he is a member of some particular organization. It's not as if the judges are not ideologically inclined when they join the judiciary, but most of the judges who are ideologically inclined this way or the other are very careful to keep their ideologies under cover. Now, why is it that the judges keep their ideologies under the wraps? For the precise reason that in judiciary, there is a maxim which says that justice must not only be done, but it should also be seen to be done. This is a very important principle which guides the judges not only in India but across the world, that the perception of the judiciary should be seen to be clean. No judge can be seen to be ideologically inclined this way or the other. But now what Mr. Das has done is that on the day of his retirement, he's actually stirred a hornet's nest by claiming that he's a member of the RSS. For 37 years, he says that for 37 years, as long as he was a part of the judiciary, he kept his ideology in suspended animation. And now he wants to realign with his ideology, considering that he is now retired. But what really happens here is that nothing happens to him. But the institution, the judicial institution, the judicial... Now what happens is that Justice Das, his verdicts may be impartial, may not have been influenced by his ideology. But now, after his admission, after his coming out in open, all his decisions will be suspect. And let me remind you that in 1924, there was a very famous case, R versus Sussex. It was basically a motor accident case where one motorcycle had collided with another, and the courts were to decide what is the quantum of penalty imposed on the negligent motorcyclist. And when this matter was being decided, what happened was that when the judges had heard the case and gone retired into their chambers, there was a law clerk who was related in some way to the victim side, and he also went into the judges' chambers. Now, when the judges deliberated, they came out and they said that R is guilty of negligence and he has to pay a compensation of £10 to the other person. But finally went up to the US Supreme Court. What the Supreme Court, United Kingdom Supreme Court said, and Lord Hewat was the Chief Justice of the UK Supreme Court, and he said, and that is for the first time this maxim was coined, that justice must not only be done, but it should also be seen to be done. And ever since that 1924 verdict, globally, judiciary has been doing that.
Right, Mr. Bagaria. In fact, thank you for putting that into perspective for our viewers out there. Definitely, it needs to be seen whether this comes in as a precedent for the judicial institution of our country and how this affects the consequences of such an inclination coming in so openly by a judge declaring it so openly, even though it is in his entire farewell and retiring speech. But right now we are sharing this other story with you, another top story that takes our focus to Bengaluru. The Central Crime Branch raided an allegedly high-profile rave party being hosted at the GR farmhouse near the Electronic City in Bengaluru in the wee hours of Monday. So the raid, as per our information, was conducted based on alarms raised over suspicion of drug abuse. The party, which was organized by a Hyderabad-based event planner, extended well beyond the permitted hours, and that is what raised the first alarm to the narcotics department. During the inspection, the CCB team discovered a stash of drugs which included 17 MDMA tablets and cocaine. Among more than 100 attendees, 25 were young women from Andhra Pradesh who had specifically been flown in for the occasion, according to the police reports. In fact, none of the guests were locally from Bengaluru, as per the reports as well. And the farmhouse, however, is owned by Gopal Reddy, who happens to be a local from Bengaluru. 6 people were seen coming out of the party wearing masks. One by one, each of the party goers was seen exiting the farmhouse via the front gate. The crime branch officers arrested 5 from the farmhouse, while the CCB sent the rest back. Their contact details were recorded to continue with the probe and bring them in for inquiry sessions. Meanwhile, a medical checkup shall be done of the 5 accused, namely Vasu, Arun, Siddiqui, Randhir, Rajbhava, and the probe shall continue based on the reports that emerge. So far, the police's understanding about the party is that it was organized to celebrate the accused Vasu's birthday, and Siddiqui, Randhir and Rajbhav are drug peddlers. What added to the probe becoming more intriguing is the attendance of some known figures at the party. In fact, the identification card of an Andhra Pradesh MLA was also found in a luxury car parked near the venue, alongside several other high-end vehicles. Telugu film actress Hema and actor Harsha, along with several other artists, were also spotted in the party. The case has been handed over to the Hezbollah police. Investigation is to continue under the leadership of Bengaluru Rural SP Mallikarjun Baladandi. Well, these are the details we have so far, and right now my colleague Wajiullah is joining us on the broadcast. Waji, very good morning to you. Help us understand this. Firstly, do take us through a list of the artists who were spotted, the actors who were spotted at this party. Also take us through the entire narcotics investigation that's taking place. What has been revealed so far? We know 17 MDMA tablets were recovered along with some stash of cocaine. If you could just take us through all that was recovered from the party area and what all has unfolded so far.
Well, like you've mentioned that yes, these many tablets of MDMA and cocaine and a lot of other drugs such as marijuana was also discovered at this particular party. And like you mentioned, how close to 100 people have been picked up by the police. Their medical checkup has also been done, and as of now, they have been let off by the CCB and have been told that they will have to come for investigation whenever they've been called for. Now, this rave party, like you mentioned, happened in the house of Gopal Reddy, the owner of that place, and also a pass of an MLA has also been cited. But what makes it even more bigger is the mention of a few Telugu actors, like you mentioned. But from what we've learned is that 2 names that propped up was one of the actor Shrikant and one of actor Hema. While both of them have released a video saying that they were not involved in this entire drug scandal, but Hema, on the other hand, is believed to have released a video saying that she is in her own farmhouse and she's not in any rave party. But what we've also learned is that the CCB has seized the phone of actor Hema because the clothes she's wearing and the white gown that she was wearing in her video is exactly the same gown that was there at the raid site, and the venue of which she was talking is also of the same raid site. So now it remains to be seen whether the police will come out and name all these people or not. But as of now, the speculation is that these people were present at this particular rave party that happens at the outskirts of Bengaluru.
Right, Vaji. Also, what we have learned so far is that 5 of them have been arrested from the spot and the probe is continuing. If you could also tell us what charges they are currently facing, given that they were seen as some of the event organizers of this party, as well as drug peddlers. 3 out of them seem to be drug peddlers.
Well, the CCB has picked up 5 of them. The names that you mentioned were Vasu, Arun, Siddiqui, Randhir and Raj Bhavan. These people were believed to be the organizers and the drug suppliers at this particular party by the CCB. Along with them, another 100 people also who were involved in this case have been booked. Now, the police, after their medical, will get to know whether these people also will be arrested with regards to the usage of drugs, because they will be checking the amount of drug that is present in their body, and if it is above a certain permissible limit, then there will be action that will be taken against these people also. But as of now, a case has been booked. These people have been arrested and taken in by the CCB. We will have to wait and watch what action will be taken against them with this regard, and how many more will be arrested in the coming time, because they still have to piece together the chain of events and how these 3 people, the names that you mentioned, Siddiqui, Randhir and Rajbhav, how are these people involved in supplying the drugs? If you remember, rave parties in Karwar, in the coastal areas of Bangalore were also busted a few years back, which involved a lot of foreigners, and there also they were unable to piece the traces of how these drugs reached this particular spot. But in this particular case, the CCB is going to make sure that they find the root cause of the supply chain also, and how such a party happened in the city of Bengaluru without anyone's notice.
Right, Vaji, thank you for bringing us all those details into this particular case. We'll keep a close watch as to what all emerges as the day passes and the investigation continues. But with that, now we're shifting our focus to some climate stories that we bring to you. Now, as summer heat grips most of India, the Himalayan states, usually a haven for cooler temperatures and scenic beauty, are facing unprecedented weather. Himachal Pradesh's lower hills are enduring unexpected heat wave conditions, creating harsh weather for both the tourists and the residents there. Over the weekend, Shimla recorded its hottest day of the summer at 30 degrees Celsius. Kulu hit 37 degrees Celsius, 6 degrees Celsius above the average at both places. The heat wave extended to Dharamshala at 35 degrees Celsius, Kangra at 40 degrees Celsius, Mandi at 39.8 degrees Celsius and Bilaspur at 42.2 degrees Celsius. Maximum temperatures are expected to rise by 2 to 3 degrees Celsius, staying significantly above the normal. Now, amid this, meanwhile, in Uttarakhand, forest fires have been raging since November, claiming 5 lives in May alone. The Forest Department blames out migration, high tension wires and inflammable pine trees. The state government, however, told the Supreme Court that the fires are entirely man-made. Increasing migration has left the hills barren, contributing to the fires. Fires reached dangerously close to the Army Golf Course, firing range and military hospital in Ranikhet on Sunday. Quick action by Army personnel and firefighters prevented significant damage. Around 130 Army personnel, in fact, battled the blaze alongside other local teams. In fact, let's take a look at some of the severe weather events happening around the world as well. Severe storms swept through Kansas, bringing heavy rain, strong winds, tornadoes and a dust storm. The change in weather conditions have been attributed to the derecho